Welcome to Prime Council, where the next generation of leaders is guided by knowledge, vision, truth, and clarity. Prime Council was born from a desire to expand the vision. In 2025, Coach Iola recognized the need to reach more emerging leaders and a growing global audience across the world through monthly webinars, Instagram live sessions, the Strategic Positioning Masterclass, and other mentoring services. Prime Council continues to equip and empower emerging leaders for greater impact.
As of August 2026, Prime Council has hosted over 18 monthly webinars, successfully delivered 2 strategic positioning masterclasses, and created numerous platforms for learning, growth, and leadership development. But this is only the beginning. The vision is bigger, the reach is wider, and the journey continues.
Welcome to another moment of knowledge, clarity, and transformation. Welcome to Prime Council, where the next generation of leaders is guided by knowledge, vision, truth, and clarity. Prime Council was born from a desire to expand the vision. In 2025, Coach Iola recognized the need to reach more emerging leaders and a growing global audience across the world through monthly webinars, Instagram live sessions, the Strategic Positioning Masterclass, and other mentoring services. Prime Council continues to equip and empower emerging leaders for greater impact.
As of August 2026, Prime Council has hosted over 18 monthly webinars, successfully delivered 2 strategic positioning masterclasses, and created numerous platforms for learning, growth, and leadership development. But this is only the beginning. The vision is bigger, the reach is wider, and the journey continues.
Welcome to another moment of knowledge, clarity, and transformation.
Hello, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to our monthly webinar at Prime Council. So glad to have you join me on this YouTube live. We're live on YouTube, we're live on Instagram. I want you to tell me where you're joining me from, your name and your location. So glad to have you here. It's going to be so hot this evening. I'm live all the way from Birmingham in the United Kingdom. I'd like to know where you're joining me from. So great to have you join me. It's going to be so power packed. So I want to know your name, where you're joining me from.
Yes, I want to see you. A couple of people.
Yes, where are you joining me from? We're live on Instagram and on YouTube also. So great to have everyone back. It's going to be so intensive this evening. So just put in your name and your location. It's been so great. I think we met last month, and now we're going to the part 2 of redefining true education. And last month was really explosive. If you did not join, you can go to the YouTube link and check for the replay. The knowledge is out there for you to tap into, because in our world today there's a need for us to redefine true education. There's a definite need to redefine true education, and that's what we've been emphasizing on since last month, and we're going deeper this evening. So I want to see where you're joining me from. Yes, 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 yes. And by the way of recap, can you, for many of us that joined last month, can we share a recap of what we got from last month? There were many things I emphasized at the first part of the series, which is redefining education. I think one of the things I said was that education is bigger than school, and schooling is just one vehicle of education, which is contrary to what many of us have been taught and we grew up with, that if you don't go to school, you're not educated. And I emphasize that education is the intentional development of knowledge, character, competence, wisdom, and capacity to solve problems. But one thing that we didn't have last week was that there are formative years that a child must begin education. And I think this conversation is just limited to children, to youth, to teenagers, but also to parents, because at the end of the day, you have the utmost responsibility to shape the life of a child. And in today's world, your starting points in a very big way, in a very large way, determines where you end up in life. And one of the things I've seen as a licensed coach, speaking to a lot of clients, mentees, customers in different settings, is that many of us are not starting life from a vantage point of view, from a leverage point of view. Many people are starting life from a default point of view. And those are the things that we need to begin to redefine if we want to be able to compete in today's global economy. So I want you to share where you're joining me from, your name and your location. And good evening, Fola from Nigeria. Thank you very much for joining me. We're also live on Instagram and on YouTube. I want you to share the links with your friends, with your family. Everyone is involved, both parents, children, teenagers, youths. It's going to be so transformative this evening. So yes, we're live on Instagram. Yes, just confirming that. Yes, Desire, one of my great mentees in the UK, doing a great job. Desire, I'm seeing everything you're doing on all across your platforms. Really, inspiring to see what you're doing with the young people in your community. And I emphasized 3 platforms of learning and said there are 3 platforms of learning, which is schooling. Do you remember, ladies and gentlemen? Training and education. Schooling is when you go through a formalized and organized system and you come out with a certificate or a degree, and you're usually measured by grades, examination, and all of that. But we also have training, whereby a lot of people now have gotten great jobs and all of that just because they've been able to go through training. Not formalized institutions like a university, like a polytechnic, but through different platforms, institutions here and there, private institutions, and they've gotten trained to become competent in a particular skill of endeavor. And the last one is education. What remains after you've forgotten the syllabus? And we talk about life education. I emphasize different kinds of education: financial education, emotional education, spiritual education, psychological, many types of education. And if you remember, there were a couple of things I emphasized last week. I'm just giving a recap for many people that didn't join. That there are 2 types of economy in today's world: the job economy and the creators economy. Most parents, so if you're born in the 80s, 90s, early 2000s, you most likely strive and survive in the job economy, whereby you go to school, you get a degree, you get a job, and you earn a living, and you're able to live a comfortable lifestyle. But in today's world, there is now the creators economy, whereby from the comfort of your home, just like this, I run a brand, I run a business without physically having a building. That's the creators economy. So for you are dispensing value, leveraging digital and social media platforms, and that's an economy that a lot of young people are now harnessing to be able to live out their potential. And it is very, very good, especially if you're a young person born in the 2000s, just starting out your career, to begin to gain knowledge and exposure in the creators economy. And I gave an analogy of Apoko Doctor in Nigeria, for example, who is taking the box on impact, influence, and income, and is having tremendous impact. More than 50 to 100 doctors boxed up in the hospital because he's been able to decentralize the traditional economy. And I gave 3 layers of education, which is information, formation, and transformation. Information is the first level. Formation is what happens with the information you have gotten, and transformation is when you act upon it. There's something, there's a resultant effect of what has been formed inside of you that should be shown outwardly. right? And I emphasize that with information, you're mostly just exposed to knowledge, so you're aware, your awareness level begins to get increased. With formation, you begin to gain understanding of the things you've been aware of. But with transformation, once you begin to apply application, which is the hardest thing, because a lot of people are ever learning, but they never come to the knowledge of the truth because they don't apply. They don't apply the things they've learned. And I gave many action points that we can begin to implement as young people, as emerging leaders in our careers and our endeavors, that will begin to position us to be top players in our world. And if you remember, ladies and gentlemen, I gave a distinct analogy of the kind of skills, because there were a couple of questions that came up last week about the kind of skills to learn. I emphasize between technical and general skills, that most of the institutions we have, the syllabus is built to give you general competence and skills. For example, business administration, for example, nursing, for example, finance, banking and finance, and those are good skills, but they are general skills. Because what makes it general? Remember, I mentioned about pro drift. If you remember, someone can type this in the comments what pro drift means. Pro drift is the massification of luxury. The moment there's high supply of labor, what will happen is that luxury begins to get limited. For example, I gave an analogy last month that, for example, traveling abroad for your master's degree, for your further education, used to be a luxury that was only exclusive to certain people. But now, due to after COVID, there was something we call the Japa wave. Due to the opening of borders from different first world countries, now traveling abroad does not really give you a leverage again, because every company can now have the capacity to travel outside of the country, and now the first world countries are not tightening their borders. So lots of general skills are suffering from pro drift. Check, for example, in the UK, nursing degrees to be really a course that will give you leverage. You get automatic job, employment, settlement. But now, ahead of a couple of nurses that have gotten their PIN and license, but they've not gotten job. That's because nursing sector is suffering from pro drift. Pro drift is when there's usually high supply than demand. For example, labor is suffering from pro drift in the UK. We have tons and millions of graduates that are graduating every year, but the jobs and opportunities are limited, and that's why it's good for you to create opportunities. And I mentioned that for you to stand out in today's world, together with general skills which you've learned in your universities or institutions, you must gain technical skills. And I mentioned Elon Musk, for example. He became the first trillionaire, not because of just innovation, because he was able to solve hard problems, which is the ambition to take humanity to space. It seems hard. The harder it is, the more technical it is, the more you're able to place premium on your value. And that's why I emphasize that a lot of young people need to become AI literate and digitally literate, because even though I understand it might be hard and technical, but that's what will position you to stand out among those that have got general skills. I want to this evening, I'm giving you a recap so that you come into that train of thought. And remember, I've emphasized that there's a time whereby the lecturer comes down to the level of the students. And I've seen many of that coming down to the level. But there are many times, if you remember that we are becoming leaders, and I will always say this, and I will keep on emphasizing it, that Prime Council, our major vision is to discover, raise and guide the next generation of leaders. It's not for followers. If you want to be a follower, there are many content to engage with. There's so many. It's an open book. You're able to log in into the Facebook, into the YouTube Live, and log out. Nobody's forcing anybody. But if you want to become a leader in your world, you want to have ownership, control, and leadership, these are the kind of platforms to engage with. Because for all the people you are engaging, following their content and all of that, they are living in their own sphere of influence. But the question I always ask is, what about you? Which day will humanity clap for you for doing something good with your life? Like I always joke those days when I was, back in Nigeria, I always tell my friends, why can't you do something good before you die? There must be a lasting legacy you live in. And it stems from that sense of ownership. Taking control of your life, deciding that you're absolutely responsible for your life. And you have always heard me say here that you are the first beneficiary of your transformation, but also, unfortunately, you are the first victim of any consequences you experience. So you can make decisions as a group. The same way, for example, in Africa, I've seen it that a lot of Africans are not willing to play. They are still willing to continue in colonization and slavery. And it's obvious in the kind of content you engage with, in the kind of conversations you involved in, the kind of choices you make. You don't have to say, I don't want to be a slave. No, it shows in your action. The moment you feed on, gullible and immoral content, that's you saying that you want to be controlled. And I'm going to be coming there in the part 2, that there are many people that are being taught by systems that they don't know of. And I'm going ahead. So that's why you need to learn technical skills. A lot of young people on holiday, I think in the UK and all of that, there are many things you could have learned. Right? So we are raising and guiding the next generation of leaders. And that's why I'm bringing you to my thought plane. I'm not coming down to your level. There's nothing happening in your level. There's nothing happening in your level. You know it. There's nothing happening in your level. And that's what the Bible says. It said, come up hither and I'll show you. Right? And in the past 3 weeks, I've been speaking to a lot of young people. And that has really, increased my desire to really do more in terms of reaching out to a lot of young people. And for parents that are here this evening, I want you to collaborate with us, and not just specifically me. There are many brands out there doing great things, mentorship platforms, coaching, discipleship. Engage with them. As a parent, you're going to do your children a great injustice not to have a personal mentor or coach for them, because there are many things you're not aware of in today's world. Let me tell you, ladies and gentlemen, the world has gone more than we see. Everything is organized. Everything is controlled back end. Everything is controlled back end. Everything is engineered technically. And that's why I wanted to have a stake. So I gave a lot of recommendations from last week. Read beyond the syllabus, stack different skills, in terms of your area of expertise, which is knowing everything about something. If you claim you're a doctor, I should not know anything about medicine more than you. You should know everything about medicine more than anybody else. But also, don't just stop in terms of just, specialty, but also gain some general skills. Remember, I'm not downplaying general skills. You need them. You need to know a little bit about finance, about law, about tax, about business, about spirituality. That's what makes you awesome. So yes, you know everything about something, your area of expertise, but you must also know something about everything, areas of passion. For example, I was speaking to a lot of people. Did you watch the World Cup? What sports do you follow? What hobbies are you involved in? And these are the things that make you awesome. Many people have gotten deals and contracts and jobs just because they were able to play golf. And these are the things I want you guys to gain, all the systems, the forces of leverage that position you. Because I know most of my audience are at the development stage, evolving and discovering. So I don't expect, when I speak to, I try to, even though I want you to come up to my thoughts, there are many things I still also step down to in terms of you accessing and receiving the wisdom. Because many of you are in your formative years, most of you are 15, 20, 25, 30. So we are all in discovery, right? But think about it, if you spend 5 years in discovery before you evolve, a lot of things have changed. That's why you need to speed up the rate of your personal development. It's really important. It's really important. I want you to tell me where you're joining me from. I can see some people on Instagram also. Just your name and location, and also on YouTube. It's going to be explosive tonight. It's going to be so explosive. I've been speaking, oh my God. There's a lot of work to be done, especially if you're from Africa. I'm not just limited to Nigeria, but Africa, based in Africa, or Africa based in different parts of the world. I want to tell you guys for free, speaking as someone that spent 7 years in the UK and I've traveled a bit to different settings. I'll tell you that if you're sane as an African in today's world, you're really doing a lot, because it's not easy to be an African. And many of us, in trying to evolve, we don't get into root cause analysis. And one of the root cause analysis is that Africa is in slavery and bondage by colonial forces. And that's why a lot of African countries had to fight for independence from colonial masters. Mention the likes Ghana, Nigeria, South Africa, many of them. And that's why if you check the region, the African region is heavily destabilized by powers that be. But at the end of the day, those things are limiting a lot of young African destinies. And I appreciate that this is a generation that I believe will do a lot of great things. A lot of great things. Because our parents, I know many people might have biases against their parents. Oh, they could have done this and that. While I believe that a lot of parents will have done more in terms of giving leverage and legacy for their children, but you must think about where they're coming from. Many of them were victims of colonialism. Many of them were victims of war. Let me tell you, ladies and gentlemen, there's something that disadvantage does to your mindset. Honestly, I'm speaking from passion. I'm not shouting this evening because I speak to young people in their 30s, in their 20s, and there is not any raw material, no operating system for greatness. Albeit is a Christian, albeit he loves God. And that's why the Bible says you make the word of God of known effects. Many people are going to end up their life making the word of God of known effects if they don't redirect their steps. And that's why you need to be critical. You can't know what I know and be normal. I think I woke up 4 o'clock this morning, just preparing and just finalizing my stuffs. Right? And I was there until I think about 8 o'clock. Different stuffs, learning from you, different perspective, different sermons and all of that. And you get that high level degree of information. And I wonder, now I'm able to speak to people and you're dispensing value. And I'm like, that's all it takes. But at the end of the day, it came because I had the operating system in my formative years. And that's what I'm trying to instill in you. I can see David has joined me from the UK, one of my great mentees. I can see Naomi. Really, really important. There's a lot of falsehood and false narrative going on out there. And the issue why life is not meant to be hard in itself. But there are powers that be that is engineering you. And many of you are still falling victims to it. And I'm coming there. I'm not even going into my today's syllabus. But why am I saying this? It's not, of course, I've been going live for more than 1 year now. Going to 2 years now. So it's not so much about I have materials, I have content. To be honest, and you guys have met me. I always have something to say. But my desire is to see you guys move forward. Because you can't be a true African and not be Pan-African in mentality. And that is why I always say, for example, you have heard me say, you are based in the diaspora in the UK, US, or a different part of the world. You need 2 forces: positive rebellion and positive compromise or adaptation. Positive rebellion in terms of holding on to your foundational values. Yes, you're in the UK and the US, working with white people, Caucasians, Americans, and British people. Hold on to your true foundational values of respect. Because I'm not beginning to see a lot of people say, for example, me, myself, and I, oh, what I earn is for me. No, but you've got families back home, even though it has to be regulated. The Bible says, in your light we see light. There is no point in having light if it's not dispensing light to others. And a lot of young people wasting away in different parts of Africa. And they're counting on you, especially for those of you in the diaspora. There's a lot of things you can do. And desire and appreciate the work you're already doing now. Really, really important, because there are many people that will not be able to reach out to, but you have the platform. That's all it takes to become empowered. You don't know what your parents, you know what it means to not have your daily square meal to eat. Do you know what that does to your mentality? Of course, you're going to be a slave. And that's why you see year in, year out, election after election, the same people take rice, 5,000 naira, 10,000 naira, 10 CBs, and you say, oh, but you not pick it. You have to pick it because you have to survive. Have you forgotten the ladder of success? The Coach Eola's framework, I gave it to you. You start life from existence. Plants and animals exist. They exist. You don't have to do anything to exist. So far you are alive, you have breath. That's all it takes to exist. But as soon as you begin to exist, you breathe in, and you breathe in, you breathe out. You become hungry, and that's when you start that journey to survival. But many people start from default. They start from negative. And you think about your basic amenities: food, clothing, and shelter. think about millions of children, of young people, of adults all over the world that are suffering from hunger. Do you think there's scarcity of food and resources? No, because there are powers. And those are the powers that are fighting against you. You see, when the Bible says we're wrestling against flesh and blood, yes, that's what it's talking about. I'm going there, we are going in. Many of us that now, what you feed on as content is in gross misconduct to where you are going to your destiny. And I make bold to say it. You cannot say you want to become an emerging leader and you're following certain people on your news feed, on your social media platforms. No, because the powers that are being always want to keep you small. They always want to keep you small, distracted, ignorant, procrastinating, and you never rise to the full quality of your destiny. Speaking to a teenager, I said, today you're 18. Before you sleep and wake up twice, you're already 30 years old, and you lose that youthful advantage. You lose that youthful. Yes, I've been doing a lot of studies because I'm preparing for a powerful program coming up. Because I've got a lot of programs coming up, so I always make sure I prepare. And one of the things I've been saying is time. A lot of Africans don't have the concept of time. And time is a major factor if you're going to achieve anything in life. Law of compounding. So you take, for example, someone that's 15 years old, you start investing in your destiny from 15. Before you're 30, you'll be a 30-year-old experienced professional. Rather than you starting at 30, you're going to be a 30-year-old novice. It's really important. And I mentioned choose mentors and rooms deliberately. For example, in recent times, because of the kind of knowledge I've gotten, because I told my mentee yesterday in a program, I said, let me tell you, if you don't grow, I'm going to outgrow you. There's going to be a time you can't afford me. One of my homies, childhood friend, messaged me, and I was speaking to one of my other mentees, my great, distant mentee, and because he knows him, I'm like, we used to be together. I remember those days. Him in particular, I went to his parents' house twice to go propose and convince his parents so that I can go to school. I can remember just like yesterday, this is about more than 15 years ago, so I can go to school. They played all the games now, struggling. Not because, I'm not talking about money now, but poverty of the mindset. No sense of identity, vision, purpose in life. Just gallivanting, existing, and he has children. A child or so. And with that same mentality, he's going to train that child. A lion cannot give birth to a rat. A rat cannot give birth to a lion. That's the issue. So many of you are coming from homes and backgrounds that is already default, is already negative by default. But it gets to a point, David, you've joined, my young mentee, it gets to a point you begin to look like your decisions. Proverbs 9 verse 12. If you're wise unto your own self. Right. It's really important you get this. You have to be aggressive about your growth. Decide that you will not be controlled by systems and forces. How do you do that? Light and knowledge. You become valuable and competent. It gives you options. Well, I'm going to attack you. No, you've got options because you know you're relevant to any system. You're going to be a beggar. Who is a slave? A slave is someone that's got no options. A slave knows what he wants to do. Have you heard of that scripture that if wishes were horses, beggars will fight? Beggars know what to do, but they don't have the purchasing power, the bargaining power to create options. We have to wake up. Let me tell you, your pathway to life and destiny is different based and fundamentally from where you come from. An average white person has got a different pathway to an average black person. I want to see comment on the chat because let's know for wasting our time this evening. Let's know for wasting our time this evening. We have to call ourselves to order. I was telling them this evening, I said, I don't have time to romance anybody and pet you and tell you sweet words or, speak nicely. Yeah, I'm speaking. I'm not going to curse you or anything, but I'm going to tell you the truth because in today's world, the truth is expensive. I'd rather tell you the truth and your life will move forward than for me to tell you lies, polished lies, and you don't move forward. You can do more with your life by taking personal responsibility. So I mentioned choose mentors and rooms deliberately. I told my mentee yesterday, if you don't grow, I'll outgrow you. I invested over £1,000 going to Geneva. There are several other conferences I'm investing in. Lots of budget I'm investing for value, for vision, for visibility. That's all it takes. Nobody is going to give you any free passageway into liberty. Nobody is going to hand you the keys to your destiny. You're going to get into the car and drive it and control the steering. Yes, you might make mistakes, but continue. So I ended last month's session with being a contributor. You have to be a problem solver, a value creator, a critical thinker. Innovate, invent. Use your brain. Use this brain that God has given you to fight poverty, to fight slavery, to fight colonization, to fight inferiority complex. A lot of people are struggling in the UK trying to fit in. You don't have to fit in. You are different already. You're a non-conformist. White can't be black. Black can't be white. How many white people have you seen trying to become black people? How many people? But we spend our years, our time, our energy trying to be what you are not called to be. Are you better than God? You know more than God. Why have God made you black if you're meant to be white? Because you're unique. You're distinct. You're relevant to your world. And generally go over the globe now, you see the black emancipation across different sectors in football, in politics, in religion, in music. The black race is leading, is taking the lead. That's why there's an opportunity for you now. Even though your parents may not be able to live to see these days of African emancipation, but you can tell a different story to your children. My sibling was telling me some time ago, oh, I'm going to travel abroad and study and all of that. And I sat back to say, there's a certain way you can't think about now just because someone like me woke up one morning in 2016 that I would travel out. Nobody. That time traveling out was not a thing. But I said, I'm done with this environment. I knew no. I was done with this environment. Now it's now a norm, but it takes that bold step. That's why I've said it. They always tell you, oh, the journey of 1,000 miles begins with a step. And I say that's the issue we have in our society today. You are trying to force people to where they don't want to go to. They're trying to say, oh, just take a first step. Just take the first step. No, the first thing I do in my sessions, if you come to my sessions as a client, as a mentee, see, are you willing? Even the Bible in Isaiah 3 verse 11. If you are willing, then now comes instructions that you now begin to obey. I have no instructions to give you if you're not willing. The journey of 1,000 miles begins first of all with a willing mindset. Willing mindset that is able to take the first decision, to take the first step. And I appreciate you guys this evening that you're willing. That's why you're connected on this live stream. We could be on Pella's live stream dancing and wasting away your destiny. But you're here. But remember that in every generation, the minorities and the masses, leaders are scarce. That's why you see maybe 50 likes or people joining. That's the point. That's the point. You become a leader, you rule over your world. Let me tell you, if you can invest in your personal development in today's world, you will lead over people, because we have lots of mediocre people. They are sheep. They are the masses. The Bible says something, I don't know if you've seen it in Isaiah 2 verse 3. Habakkuk 2 verse 3. Write the vision and make it plain, that he may run and read it. Think about it. Who spends more energy? The one that wrote the vision or the one that is running? Of course, the one that is running. And that's why you find many unskilled labor in today's world. Oh, I'm hustling, I'm picking shift, I'm doing that. Yes, you can pick shift as a means of survival, but it gets to a point in your lifetime you can decide, I've done this for the last 2, 3, 4, 5 years. Anytime you strategize. We read about the prodigal son came back to his homes and reasoned, and he went back to his father. You read about it, but you've not been your prodigal. Go back to strategy. Go back. And I'm speaking to those of you that are here in the UK, you are more than 4 years in the UK, and you just one plane of income, just one third pattern of business of offering. You will do that for the next 30 years. Wake up. I'm not speaking as someone that's privileged, I'm speaking as someone that has broken through the system. There was a time I had an opportunity to meet my mentor, the great Apostle Femi Lazarus. We spoke. I asked the question. We're in a great meeting, and it's on, of course, it's online on YouTube. In a great meeting, and I asked the question. I said, "Oh, is that meeting?" And they said, "You're joining me tomorrow." And I was with him the next. They had to go back to London the next day. We were all through together, and we shared many things that I will not tell you guys now. Many things. And I'm like, wow. I'm just 1 year plus into Prime Council. I'm already standing and sitting down with kings and nobles of industry. What if I'm 5 years into this? I will not be at this level. I told you, you think I'm going to be doing live stream forever? There will be a time that will be so busy. You guys know, we do something in Prime Council. We have got 7 or so staff members. We still want to employ more because there are a lot of things. Publishing 2 books coming up. That is all it takes. Nobody is going to help you do it. You have to wake up. You must be aggressive towards fighting away forces that will not let you. Before you know it, let me tell you, Busayo, I don't know how old are you. Before you know, you're going to become a father. Just yesterday, I was in Ikorodu. Today, I have Melody running around. Before you know it, she's 10 years old. Time waits for no man truly. Is what you do with time. You can't keep time. You can use it wisely. You know what it takes to change your life now, but because you're not a doer. And that's why for many people that have been able to come under my mentorship, they've executed many things that would have taken them years to execute. So I speak to a lot of people and to say how much. I said, no, leave money. I'm not even, because I'm preparing for Excellent 3.0. I'm not even taking client anymore. You think I want to dwell with you 200 pounds, 400 pounds, 500 pounds. I'm getting to the nations. You sit down there. There's a lot of work to be done with the nations. I'm not going to sit down here and I'm not going to waste my talk and perspective. You see all these content you see, you will mark the words. There will be content that will go viral very soon. But you must have done the work. When I met the mentor, Apostle Femi Lazarus, and he saw a book on my platform, and he said, "Is that your book?" And I said, "No, that's not my book. I just did it as a video." And I went back. I felt sad because I should have published those books. But for obvious reason, I was not able to. I'm showing you guys my own lessons too from life. If opportunities meet you without preparation, you will regret it. Oh God, bless me. Do you have the capacity? You want a job, you don't have a driving license in the UK, you're a joke. Say these things and you're like, oh, coaches. But that's the truth. They will not, who has told you that now? How many people have called you and said to spend 1 hour with you to invest what they know into you? I was telling the truth. You're in Nigeria. You don't have any role model abroad. Like you're just tapping from experience, even if it's 30 minutes call. You just joke around. Those days, I remember some friends, they had access to me then because I was just, in the hood. But if they see me around, they'll bypass so that they can go and gist and talk about ladies. They are talking about ladies up to now, 10 years plus. How many? Is that what you want to do with your life? Is that what you will tell your children? Oh my God. I gave about types of education: intellectual education, spiritual education. Spiritual education. Guys, I told many people, oh, I don't have money to. I've done lots of content online. We post content on YouTube, on Instagram, on TikTok, on LinkedIn. There are staffs employed so that you get access to this. Even if you don't like me, there are many people, great people doing great work. Global Temi, There's Silent King. There are many of them. Nasir Ogwe. Pick one and follow, but you will not do that. But if every gist, every trend, every gossip, you know it. If you fail, don't say you know me, because we will not even meet. Failure has no counterpart. Can you remind me of the man that failed yesterday? Nobody knows him. But now, see, one of the things I thank God for is wisdom to learn many things at a very young age, because I'm still very young, or many of you can think I'm very, very young. It's wisdom, right? I didn't used to be the beloved in the school. We're always the rebels. They didn't like us for our audacity, and of course I was very stubborn, to be told. But I remember we did the WAEC, or what do they call it, WAEC in Nigeria, or SS3 or something out of secondary school. And a lot of people failed at that point in time. The as usuals, the great people, the intelligent people, they didn't have their complete papers here and there. And I had all my papers. And I remember I was going upstairs to in my school, and one of my teachers hugged me and said, "Oh, we're so proud of you." And that's when I knew that success attracts, failure repels. I learned that in 2011. I learned also in 2012 when I was leaving FUTA after I got expelled. I was with gangs. I was popular on campus. AY Olamide is in the US now. We're popular, wrecking havoc everywhere. Every gang they knew us. We're everywhere. SUG, politics, going to state house, everywhere. I thought that was life until I got expelled and they escorted me out of the campus. And we're going back. I thought, we're all going back to Lagos together. No. Once we got into the taxi, they all waved me goodbye. That was the first day immediately that thing happened. That's what I knew that, in this life you're alone. You can make decisions as a group. But you see consequences that are personally felt. That's why I have friends. I won't say I don't have friends here and there, but I'm very focused in where I'm going to. You have to be focused. Are we getting the point now this evening? I'm not seeing any comments. Or am I too strict or harsh? Or do you want me to hear simple things? We're going to get into the part 2 of today's series. Before I forget, there are 2 things you need, and because I'm working with time now, there are many things you need to catch up on. Number 1 is that you have to work on building soft skills, and most times, especially if you are, for example, in a secondary school, they will not be the main agenda. So you have your daily subject, right? But you find that there are some things they call it extracurricular activities, maybe music, different skills and all of that, maybe debates. Right, those are what we call extracurricular activities. I want you to begin to pay attention to that if you are in secondary school or primary school or any of those systems. If you are out of school, think about building soft skills. What are the soft skills that are relevant in today's world? I'm going to give you soft skills, because at the backside of everything that human beings experience as failure, as poverty, is the lack of money. Because the Bible says money answereth all things. So let me tell you, if you have enough money to live your life, there are many things that you will not have to go through. Money is really good. And you can't gain enough money if you can't sell. And I have that in my book I'm releasing, How to Move from Raw Talent to Market Value. You have to be able to sell. 2 ways to sell: your communication, what you say, your appearance. Your appearance attracts people and they bring them to you. Your communication determines if they stay or not. Work on that. Work on communication. Start speaking. And sometimes I'm quite disgusted. For example, I'm on one group in church, over 450 people there, and he posts things and nobody can say anything. I'm like, you can't even stand out here in a place that we have homogeneous mentality. How can you stand out in an heterogeneous mentality space? How can you stand up in a disruptive space? If in an homogeneous space whereby people are religious, are calm, collected, you can't stand out and share your opinion. How can you share your opinion in a very disruptive space? And you think, oh, you are doing the poster of the comments or the particular post. No, you're doing yourself because you're not visible. You don't dress well. I was speaking to a lot of people around me. Some of the guys said, wake up in the morning. If you get paid this month end, take £50, take £100. Go and shop on Temu or Shein. Buy some shirts, buy some trousers, buy some tie, buy shoe. But you will not believe that. He believes in what does not exist. Because at the end of the day, you don't have second chance to make the first impression. You don't have a second chance to make the first impression. People rate you, first of all, outwardly, before they think about bringing you close. Soft skills to build on. Ideas. Only 3 here this evening. I can't see any comment on YouTube. I need to know that we're following. Ideas. You must be a lover of books. Which lecturer will tell you to be reading books? They just come and teach and go. But wisdom commands that you should read books. Research. You encounter a problem in the tax or something. Go beyond the obvious and do a research into that. So they can probably invent something that's something new out of nothing. Or you can innovate something new out of what is already existing. And of course, the third soft skills is platforms, social media and digital skills. How many of you here on social media, on Instagram, LinkedIn and TikTok? How many of you? Some people don't have an account and you want to compete in today's world. How? Because you're being trained by traditional parents and you can't blame them, but you have yourself to blame. The people that will rule over your children, do you know what? Oh God of heaven. Go check. Let me tell you a code. Go check most celebrities that give birth. Go check. They always have an account for their babies. Many of them. Musicians, celebrities, on-air personalities. Go check. They will name the baby something. They'll be posting 1 or 2 pictures and it's amassing followership and audience. Because that's a currency in today's world. The more people that you're exposed to, that increases your ratio. So for example, I've got this pen, right? Very valuable. He's got something not so valuable, but he can sell it. He's exposed to 10,000 audience. I'm exposed to just 50 audience. How big this is valuable? He's gonna have more sales in terms of the ratio than me, because the ratio, the margin of exposure is higher than me, because I've got just 50 audience I'm exposed to. At this point in time now, nobody's really checking. Have you put filter? Have you put your content? Let them know who you are. My name is David. Oh, I'm studying. Yes, put it there. This is what I'm studying. This is what I learned in school. Put it there. Because you want to be able to build mileage. Especially if you are within your 20s. The world counts you or judges you for consistency and being naive and innocent. Once you get to a certain age, after you're 30, they are angry. Like, oh, can't you do this? But a young person, you're 14. There's that bias. That's why there's a bias for babies. That baby can grow up to become a kidnapper or a Boko Haram, but as far as the baby, because he's got he's controllable, he's young and naive. Everybody loves babies. And that's why I've been speaking to a lot of parents. You have a child, a baby, a teenager, and adolescent. There are certain things you must put that operating system for greatness in that child. You make failure, it will not even be an option among the options available in the choices of life. There is no any capacity to fail. That's what a parent does. Psalm 127. Behold, children are the heritage of the Lord. The fruit of the womb is his reward, as arrows are in the hands of a mighty man. So I train of the youth. So those that travel into this world, go check. Many of them, they've got mighty parents in terms of finances, in terms of connections, in terms of mentality. Yes, your parents may not have all of that. I appreciate that, sympathize with you. But what will you be doing to your own children? If you are at this age, you are not interested in being AI literate, how will you train you? You know, in the next 30 years, by the time you start giving birth, or 15 years, you know the kind of technology you'll be using. The same way going live, for example, live streaming was a thing, was the miracle last 30 years. That is how. But you must have that appetite for it. And it stems from that standpoint of being used to solving hard problems. And the fourth soft skills is credibility, trust, and reputation. You must be a person of reputation. Are you with me here this evening? So many things to share. Because there's a difference between being qualified and being capable. Many people have got qualifications and it's proud to say it. I've got a degree, I don't have a job. Look at you. A joke. The government doesn't care about you. Are you capable of creating value? I want you to type it on the chat that I'm going to work on my capacity. I want to type it on the chat. That's it. I want you to type that promise to yourself on the chat. Everybody type it. I'm going to work on my capacity. I'm waiting. Because at the end of the day, qualification is not equal to capacity. That's the truth. Many people are qualified, but they're not capable. Qualification, it gives you access to being called. That's why you can get an interview. You're called for an interview. But being called for an interview doesn't mean that you get a job. No. I would say many are called, qualification, but few are chosen, capacity. Oh, I want you to type that in the chat. Many are called, few are chosen. Many are called, they're qualified, but few are chosen, capacity. So if there's no any movement, progress in your life, have you checked those two factors? It could be one of the two. Maybe you're not qualified enough. And now if you're qualified, are you capable? For all those things you have written down in your CV or your portfolio, are you truly capable of delivering them? Because life knows the answer. Life will test you. For example, you smuggle your way to become qualified, you get into a job. The job role will test you if you're truly capable or not. It will test you if you're capable or not. You must work on your capacity. Because many people boast in their degrees. Oh, I've got this degree and this is what I studied. But the world is not waiting for more degrees. It's waiting for more capacity. More capacity. You know, I'm privileged to work with the United Nations. I do a lot of stuff here and there as ad hoc activities. And if you're conversant with the UN goals, we've got the 17 SDG goals. So Sustainable Development Goals 17. And in the goal 4, we've got the quality education. So it's called access to quality education. But even the UN can't help you fulfill your destiny. Because guess what? Even though that's an ambition for 2030, it's still limited. The UN have got an ambition for 2030 to get a lot of young people, millions of them, getting them access to education. But guess what? In today's world, the competition is more faster than that goal, because it's not just about access to education, but also quality education. It's a globe, because the United Nations, of course, is a global institution. Their agenda is just access. But we're here talking about, I'm telling you that it's not just access to it. You know, the first-hand exposure, but what's the quality of what you've been exposed to? Quality education is what changes, like not just access to education. And I'm getting there, because a lot of people are being miseducated. I'm getting there now. This is part 2. Are you getting the point now? A lot of people are being miseducated. So it's not about access to education anymore, like you and rules. No, that's good. That's, at least if there's any option, you go with anything. No, now we're talking about options now. What is on the table? Because at a point in time, even if you're hungry, you care about salad, or, you know, I don't eat, I have allergies. No, you want food, access, exposure. But it gets to a point in time, we're talking about what kind of food, what's the quality of this education. If you're going to become an emerging leader, you cannot just be educated anyhow by randomness. It has to be context-based and specific. That's why university should be part of education, but not the entirety of it. So I appreciate you've got your bachelor's degree, master's degree, doctorate degree, but it's not the entirety of it. There's many things to learn. Yes, they have the official curriculum, but that's mainstream agenda. You go through this curriculum to become a nurse, but you don't succeed, you don't live life, you don't achieve your purpose, you don't thrive, you don't become impactful by just being a nurse. It has to be engineered. That's why there's the hidden curriculum. So as a nurse, for example, what's the business side of nursing? For example, I know many nurses that are not, they started off as a nurse, but now they've got their own agencies, so they don't have to physically be in the ward again. But now they have many nurses within their clusters. They are working for them, and they're able to use that time to do other things. And now I spoke to I think some teenagers today. Church, what do you want to become? A mental health nurse. That's good. But is that sustainable in today's world? Because I've seen a lot of nurses now really complaining, because the nursing sector and most sectors globally, like immigration, like these general skills, nursing, MBA. MBA used to be a thing before, but now you have an MBA, it's like just a normal stuff. It's suffering from pro drift, the massification of luxury. And now the scientists, the innovators are creating new luxuries. So if you want to compete at that scale, you have to have the bargaining power, number one, and the earning capacity. Because I'm getting somewhere. Very soon, what will come as luxury will be going to space. I want to ask you, how many salary would a nurse need to get to the space? But if you have built your bargaining power and your earning capacity, oh God. Also, they can get these things. This is, I don't know. Yeah. These are my chief thoughts. This is what I think. I may not have money now, but I can't be poor if I'm investing in my bargaining power, in my earning capacity. Many of you are too focused on now. Think later. Those days I used to be broke. I remember when I was in Nigeria, many of my friends, they got jobs and they think about now. Only 120k, 100k, you buy a wristwatch, insurance company, banks. I knew that I was above this, because I knew that this, I knew it. I got an evaluation one time. I had a job too. After 2 weeks I resigned, because I said, if I continue on this pattern with X and X percentage increase, will this be able to actualize the lifestyle I want to live? No. I resigned after 2 weeks. And now you hear me say, you to break away from the half-bred mentality. It's affecting a lot of Africans. Oh, just start with this. I broke away. Now, imagine I go back to Nigeria. My bargaining power and my earning capacity will be above all of them. Are you getting many things this evening? Work on that. It's not about today. It's is about, will you be really want to be able to live the kind of life for the innovations that will come? Those days, when my parents were investing in education, they had other parents that everything was just now. They will eat big, meat, everything and all of that. Now, they don't have the bargaining power and the earning capacity to be able to afford a plate of meat. Now, you get what I mean now? But my parents can afford it because they've trained people like me. Just a peanut, I send. And they can afford meat. You get the logic now? You have to work on your bargaining power and your earning capacity. Bargaining power in terms of your competence, relevant competence, at least the AI skills, digital skills, technical skills will still be in existence for the next 30 years. But you see, general skills, AI can give you everything you learn in an MBA degree. It can give you with a single prompt. What are you talking about? And I've been telling you, there are certain courses that you should not even do, not even as an African, coming from that deprived community. Well, my passion, look at you. Okay, your passion, but what's the business side of the passion? That's the point. Because the official curriculum will say this is what you need to know. No institution, especially here in the UK, will position you to become revolutionary, a disruptor, a non-conformist. No, they want to make you conform. And you must have your own hidden curriculum. Even unfortunately in religious settings, in churches. And that's why it must be brilliant in nature to go search the scriptures and see beyond what the pastor in one of my videos I said, many of you, God has called you to be so great. And you box yourself at just a realm. Oh, I want to be, for example, my father in the Lord. I want to be my pastor. No. You're called to be greater than your pastor. Yes, aspire to get to that realm, but once you get there, you move again. You press, forgetting those things that are behind. So this is what I'm talking about, your soft skills. Oh, I've studied economics. Do you know how to negotiate your salary? Because on the same job, some can be earning 40k per annum, some can be earning 50k per annum. That 10,000 difference, it looks small, just 10,000 pounds. But the law of compounding over a 30-year career can differentiate between someone that struggles and someone that is really in abundance. Just by negotiation skills when they started their career 30 years ago. Oh, I learned engineering. You know how to communicate with different races out of the different races of the world. You have to communicate with senior stakeholders. I've got my manager there, senior managers. And that realm is not so much about execution, strategy, forecast, planning, management. So they say, oh, serve in church. You can't even serve in church. Look at you. You don't know the battles. And like I said, many things will suffer from pro drifts. I want you to mark my words. And I told many people then about the NYC. I said this is gonna be a dead end. Oh, they were like, oh, you have to. I said no, look at that. It's very relevant in the order of skin in today's world now. You have to be great by force, by fire. Your children respect you for it. I've said many things here. Yes, there's the part whereby you say, oh, I'm so lucky to be a dad, to be a father. Oh, thank you. There must also be a point in your lifetime whereby your children will say, Daddy, I'm so proud that you are my father. Because of the leverage you've given them. Because of the orientation you've given them. Because of the mindset you've given them. They go outside and they say that, wow, I'm not struggling. Life has been positioned in such a way that I can't struggle. Child will not like you and respect you. As at now, many people love their parents, but they don't like and respect them. They love them because you have no option. You don't choose your parents. But if there were a choice, you would change parents. Look at that. Because of the way they've mismanaged your life, and that's when many people are suffering from that. Am I seeing the truth here this evening? Everybody is quiet. Am I shouting, ladies and gentlemen, or should we just chat? Africa is struggling. I thank God for great people, great preachers everywhere. Apostle Joshua Selman, my great mentor, Apostle Femi Lazarus, is doing a great job. Many people trying to shine the light upon Africa. Many of those people are Pan-African in mentality, in orientation. Oh, thank you, Jesus. Oh, I studied medicine. I studied business. Do you know about personal finance? Do you know? I was just reflecting, and I said, the things I know about finance now in terms of investments, putting some ISAs, I was like, if only I started ISA when I came 7 years ago. To better by now. Because £20 here, £100 there, £50 there, £200 there, have compounded over time. I'll be in a better place now. I've been telling you guys, do all these things, but you not do it. It's until you get to 40 and it's like, oh yeah. Then you'll be jumping from Shiloh to redemption camp to different praying on what wisdom could have done for you. Invest in yourself. Work on your earning capacity. Work on your bargaining power. Invest in your value. Build competence. Become excellent, become diligent, choose to be distinct and different and a non-conformist. You will lead over your co-equals. If I pick a phone now and call any of my mates, it's with respect. If I pick a phone now and calling any of my colleagues I've known before, I don't speak to most of my mates because most of the people around me are older than me. I told my mentee, I said, if you don't grow, I'm going to outgrow you. Because there'll be a time you can't afford me. There'll be a time you can't afford me. I'm working tremendously back end from mainstream influence. God keeping us alive and healthy. It takes a lot to break into mainstream influence. And that's all it takes. That's the proposition I'm proposing to you. Imagine leader. You can be a leader. You cannot think like a follower, like a common, like the masses. You are an elite. You're exclusive. You are distinct. You are unique. You're a VIP. And yes, you may not have it now, but let that start first of all with your mindset. Then it becomes an action. Begin to act that way, like a noble, like a dignitary. Then before you know, it becomes a lifestyle. Don't just speak anyhow. I see some of you, they just put off stuff online. I'm like, what? And you're going to nations this way. Those tweets, those quotes, those stuff, they will come back and haunt you because of digital footprints. Be careful. Ladies now exposing their body parts everywhere. And one day now you have a call of God upon, and now people doubt your calling because they've seen your parts everywhere, all over the world. Are we still with me here this evening? I need to know because I've not seen any comments. So I'm going to wait till I get a comment before I continue. Because I'm going deep now into something really important. But I'm going to be waiting because that's the only reward I get. Your engagement. There's no point in me showing up here if you're not engaging, because yes, when there's no vision, the people perish. But of course, where there are no people, the vision perishes also. If you're not here, then you can as well just call it a day. I'm waiting. Yes, the said many are called, few are chosen. Yes. People's destiny are not just different, but their mindset and perspective to life are very different. People's perspective and views of life determines how they approach life. Yeah. And you know the funniest thing, Desire? Many of those perspectives are a function of what you've been exposed to by your primary carers, probably your parents or your environment, from your formative years, 0 to 8 years. So, for example, if you grew up among pilots, becoming a pilot will become a reality, will become a dream you can nurse and have as an ambition. If you grew up among drivers, becoming a driver is a reality that you want to, live in. That's what you've been exposed to. That's why exposure is really powerful. Thank you, Desire, for that perspective. I didn't see the comment. Are you with me here this evening? Even if it's just one person, I need to know. Okay, we're gonna fly now. Now listen to this. Some of the lessons that will determine your success will never appear on your university transcript, of course. By now you know that. Soft skills. Okay, now getting deep into something I want you to pay attention to. I want you to write this down. 5 teachers that is already teaching you, but you don't know. So 5 teachers everyone is already being enrolled under without consent. So they don't need your consent. If I want to teach you, I need to come with you and say, oh, Desire, oh, David, oh, Yemi, I need to teach you this. And you say, oh, no, I want to learn. But there are many teachers already teaching you, teaching your children, teaching us now, but we don't even know of. They need acts of our consent. And I'm going to expose you to these 5 teachers so that you begin to check and say, oh, this person or this entity has been teaching me. I didn't get my consent. Can I now rewire it so that it gets my consent? Now, the first one is the algorithm. The algorithm. Do you know the algorithm knows more than you about yourself? He knows more about yourself more than you. The algorithm. You check one post on Instagram, it gives you 100 of it. Because it studies you. There's a back-end engineering. Oh, you like dancing videos. That's what you see all through TikTok and Instagram. You will never see anything on public speaking or personal development. He's teaching you there because he has studied you. Remember I said this session is for not just access to education, but the quality of education. So as an action point, go filter what you've been listening to on different social media platforms, because that's your way of spend your time. We can't take away the fact that I'm not saying don't be on Instagram. Of course, you have to be on Instagram, you have to be on TikTok, you have to be on LinkedIn, you have to be on YouTube. The question is, what are you doing there? You cannot be watching certain people and want to live a great life. Go and tell us as a pauper. It runs a personalized syllabus based on your weak points. It teaches comparison, urgency, and appetite. Many people now don't have a sense of identity now. They're not patient with the growth rates because they've seen Vicky James launch her business now. They don't want to build. They're jealous. They're anxious. They're envious because of the glitz and glamour. It puts people under pressure to show what they are not, to say what they are not. Guess what? You spend more hours under this teacher more than even anywhere else. You know how many times you have gone to your social media platform today? You are streaming through YouTube today. You're streaming live on YouTube. You're live on Instagram. So it's teaching you. But have you gained consent from you? That's where I'm getting to. Or you are just following the tide. If you far you agree with them, what are you learning? What are you learning? Somebody came to my house, I think last year, like, take my YouTube channel. The only thing you see is someone, maybe documentary, sports. Football. I watch football for relaxation, of course, to gain perspective and to relax. Then documentary here and there, music, gospel music, and sermons. Sermons is 80%. Different sermons, religious, intellectual sermons. That's me. You will not find certain people. Light and darkness have no cost to meet. Are we getting the point now this evening? They are growing them. Guys, I need you to engage. Engage. The second one is your association. Who you spend your time with. The people nearest to you. They set your ambition. You're an average parent. There are certain dreams you will never even dream of. There's a way the son of the kings think, the prince. There's a way he cannot think. Just because he's surrounded by that environment. Your standard of what is acceptable, what is possible, what is ambitious is determined by your association and your environment. Who are your friends? They're educating you, whether to be mediocre or to be excellent. Imagine you can't meet someone like me and live an average life. That's me. But most times I struggle saying that with some of my friends. Because I also need help. I also need leverage. I also need to be encouraged. But sometimes you find one thing and I have to outsource my association. Really important. Number one, what's it? Can we mention it in the chat? I want you to mention it in the chat. Number one, the algorithm. Number two, your association. The third one is exposure. The levels you work, the places you go. I met somebody, I don't go out. I can't be exposed to those. When you don't go, you're gonna be naive. You're gonna be, oh God of heaven. Exposure. Exposure is really important. You need to be exposed to different things. Travel. So there are two ways of exposure internally when you read books. So for example, I can read about America without going to America, but when I buy a book on America and I gain knowledge about America, which is good internal knowledge, I can now begin to think about it. Oh, this is how America looks like. These are the contexts. This is the way of life. This is the culture of America. But there's also external exposure, which is physically going to America, and you need both of them. Because someone can say, oh, I don't have a ticket to go to America now, but you can read about America in a book, in the movies you watch, in the documentaries. There are many documentaries on YouTube about any subject area. But will you do that? Say the truth. But every gist, every gossip, every argument between one celebrity, between one popular person, between one pastor, you know it. But what about you? The first one is inherited fear. Do you know many of the things that our generation calls being realistic was gotten from our parents' survival strategy? Yes. And many people, they would have done a different course in school or something that would have given them leverage, but their parents had to think about survival. Just go and do medicine. I want you to become a doctor. Wow. It's just because you heard your neighbor's son is also a doctor, you will now want your own doctor to become a doctor. Fear teaches a lot of people. Failure is teaching people. Oh, don't do this and that. If you don't do it, how will you learn? Or if you fail at it, you've not lost. You've gained experience. Elon Musk in going to the space, they failed many times. And that's why it's worth $1 trillion now, because he's willing to fail over and over again. But you You just want guarantees, and that's one of the issues. I think this is specific for those in the UK. I'm looking for a job. You just, oh, join this webinar, join this program, join this masterclass. No, will they give me a job there? Shut up your mouth there. What do you mean? There are no guarantees in life. It's only through your consistent engagement that you build guarantees. So you start from the unknown. Then you take a chance at it, you engage with it, then it becomes increased probability. After consistent action, then that now becomes guarantee. There are no guarantees in life, but many of us want guarantees. Just show me that place. You know what? Life deals with people that believe in probabilities more than guarantees, because they are willing to take a chance, to take a step, to take an action. But you just want exactness and precision, and you can take no step. And of course, pain. Culture also teaches people. Culture. For example, the culture in Nigeria and Lagos is also. That's why they call it also culture. Many of that, they say the also culture. The culture is teaching people that you have to be sweating. Also, hard work is a thing, is a flex. In the UK, it's comfort. I'm comfortable. I've got a mortgage. I've got a car. I'm comfortable. I've got a ride. Comfort is a culture in the UK. And the enemy of growth is comfort. The enemy of growth is comfort. But that's the culture of the land here. But it's schooling you. So that's why I've heard many people who say, oh, since I came to the UK, I just lost that my drive and zeal. Of course, you've been taught by the powers that be in the land that you have to be comfortable and you can't break beyond the glass prism, beyond the horizon, because you're being taught and you don't know. And that's why you need to re-educate yourself, not by access to education, but by quality education. And you now redefine what success means for you. Does it mean just having a car or a mortgage or a house? You increase the bar again. You break and shatter the wall because you are countercultural. You are a non-conformist. You're a positive rebel, and that's what a society needs. As we begin to round up, you are not uneducated. You are educated by default. And this default education will serve those that have programmed it, as engineered it. So Elon Musk, Mark Zuckerberg, Bill Gates, these are some of the physical or visible forces of this world. They're not going to come keep you in slavery by tying chains in your neck anymore. They are also smart, because they will be that clamor, oh, why are you colonizing us? Why keeping us in slavery? But they will take your time. They will take your energy. They will take your attention. They will take your money. And you're left with nothing. A slave is someone that has got nothing, has got no option or choice. And I know that will not be you. So gain back control of your attention, of your time, of your energy, and of your money. Spend wisely. Spend to develop yourself. Spend to do research, yes. Don't spend and buy the time to watch Baby Ninja. Stop that nonsense. Stop that. What Nigerians doing that? Oh, our fan, look at you. Really important. Really important. Conserving your time, your energy, your attention, and your resources. So it's not a matter of I'm more educated. No, you're being educated by default without your consent. But wisdom now demands that you begin to gain. Before any of these platforms will get access to my mind, to my attention, it must be that I consenting to it, not by default. Don't live life by default. Because now they call it many things. Oh, dumb scrolling. What's that? That's for aimless people. If you are focused, you don't dumb scroll. You go research. You are on that platform because you are doing a research. You're doing something that will, translate to value for you. So, for example, you're in the digital space. You can be online trying to get ideas and all of that. That's you. But you're just there. Dumb scrolling. You're wasting your destiny's time. I want to hear this evening. I want to see comments in the chat. Yes, you can only reap what you sow to life. Exactly. Bible says if you're wise unto yourself. Real education is examined in these five places I mentioned: culture, the algorithm, exposure, the association or an environment, pain or fear. And now, these are the ways that life tests you to check that you're truly educated. Number one, when you're under pressure. When you're under pressure, it tests you. Are you a person of character? Are you a person of dignity and value? There are certain words that should not come out of your mouth to check that you are truly educated, emotional intelligence and education. Not speak anyhow, but you will not know that until you're under pressure. Number one. Number two is when you're in obscurity. If your name has value, there are certain things you will not put on Twitter, but because you think nobody knows me, I'm a non-entity, you put in anything, Jack and Boo. When you're in obscurity, number one. Number two, when you're under pressure. Number three, when you have money or when you don't have money, it tests your convictions involving fraud. These are the things that waste destiny. I think many of my friends then isn't to be growing up together, they were involved in what they call 419 scam, internet scam, and Ponzi, different stuffs. Now that destiny is just stagnated. Because what legacy are you going to leave for your children when that's not a legacy? That's what you need to your lifetime was to scam people of their money. Think about it. So I'm going to tell my child that, do you know this is what I do for a living? Of course, you have to lie. And in today's world, it's justified. People justify it. People flaunt fraudulent money. People flaunt resources from social vices. When you have money, when you don't have money. The fourth one is when you have power over somebody. It's really important. The Bible says that the Gentiles lord it over their people. But you have power to serve, to be a steward. It's really important if you're going to be a leader. Because remember, we're discovering, guiding, and raising the next generation of leaders. That means for the power you have, for the authority you have, for the leverage you have, is to empower others. In your light, we see light. Not to abuse anybody, not to blind anybody, but to empower. But that will show you are truly educated. That's why you see a lot of people, politicians, people in business, they are not truly educated. If you're going to be different from them, it will show that you're truly educated when you have a measure of leverage, control, leadership, power. What do you do with it? Do you abuse it? Do you misuse it, or do you use it for profitable purposes? And the last one is when you're disappointed. In life, people will disappoint you. You the curse word, F word. A person of dignity, a man that is in honor and knoweth not, is like the beast of the field that perisheth. And there are three reasons why people perish. Number one, lack of salvation. Number two, lack of identity. Number three, lack of vision. Three things. Your certificate says what you've studied, but your conduct says what you've learned. So, as we conclude, the summary is that you will either be educated in a way, and nobody is uneducated in today's world. So, we have moved from access to education, we have moved from the UN SDG goal 4, which is quality access to education. We're now moving into quality education. So, everybody's educated in a way. But most times we're educated without consent by these forces I've told you about, by your association, algorithm, pain or fear, culture, your association and environment. And now you must go, that's your action point. Go back and check. Have I created consent for this algorithm? This feed is giving me. You have the power to say, I'm not interested in this. You remember there's a features a lot on your Instagram, on your TikTok, on your YouTube. Your association, cut off from people that are going nowhere. Pain of fear, despise pain of fear. Get true identity in the Word of God. Exposure and association. Go out, meet new people, make new friends of like minds, of like values. So you be educated either way, whether intentionally or by default, by the algorithm or by structured mentorship. By your fears or your convictions, by accidents or by intentionality or by design. The educated person is not the one who knows the most, is the one that chooses his or her teachers. Choose your teachers this evening. You have the power of choice. Don't say I've got no option. No, you have that's one thing they can't take away from you. See, God will not take away the power of choice. The powers that Instagram cannot take away. They cannot, yes, they can suggest. That's what they call it, suggestions, isn't it? Yes, they suggest it to you and you receive it, it becomes a norm. They suggest it to you, you ignore it, you reject it, it's out of the radar for you. We reject many things. Are we getting the point now this evening? Really important stuff. And for parents, thank you very much everyone that's joined. For parents, please invest in your children. Believe in the Pan-African dream of liberation from neo-colonialism to slavery, not just by chains now. Remember now, slavery is not just by chains. No, it's not by chains anymore now. No. They don't have to come chain you down. There are forces, there are powers that are regulating your attention, energy, time, and money. Take back control. Parents need to wake up. Remember, mighty parents bet mighty children. Enough of being average parents. Don't give bare minimum and expecting a child to become the savior of the family. No way. You must give leverage to your children. Bible says a good man uses an inheritance not just for his children but for his children's children. That's the barest minimum. That's the benchmark. Transgenerational wealth, yes, in terms of resources, but also the mentality that makes that. Spend time with your children. If you don't read a book of Genesis, Bible spoke about Abraham. He said, you will command his children. You don't suggest your children, you command them for instructions. He said, these things that you have learned. He said, teach them to your children. You remember from me across all your generations. Show them your scars as a parent. This is the result of this kind of decision I took 10 years ago. This is what can happen. A lot of people are living life of no consequence. No, stop that. I told them today, I said, I'm not a party to this freelancing and romancing of ego. I would rather bruise your ego. If not, your ego will bruise you. Your ego will take you nowhere. I'm going to bruise it so that you can be healed before time. And you will make something, good out of your life. No. I can't know all this is and tell you lies and tell you, oh yeah, just just no. Because there's an agenda to recolonize Africa now. Not just physically, but mentally. So you can leave Africa, you can leave Nigeria or Ghana or South Africa and come to the UK and still live like a slave. And that's even worse off. I think those that are even in diaspora are even worse off. Because there's a lot of pressure on personal development. In the UK, if you don't develop yourself or in the US, there'll be a lot of pressure on you. Because in Nigeria, for example, you can be jobless and really survive. But yeah, Bible must push you because you must pay bills. And now, do these things now. I've got a presentation on Sunday with teenagers in church. I'm going there. They thought I'm going to come tell them about candies and goodies. I'm coming there for a mission. Stop all this nonsense. It's serious business here. A son that's 18 years old, he doesn't even know what he's doing on net. No identity. And he thinks he's young. Before you sleep and wake up, you're 30 years old. So let me tell you, there will be a time we will not be on this live session now. He said, if you are found faithful in little, much, but there are many opportunities now that are already evolving, and my schedule now is becoming so. Make use of all this moment now to gain what you can gain, because I'm not evolving. Those of you in my circle, you've seen some of this. I'm going to break into second cycle and streams. You think if I get, I'm going to be here? Just no, I don't have that time. No. Those days, I'll pursue people to go to school. I'll pursue people to do it. No, why do I have that time now? When do I listen my call? Before I used to really have time, call people, check on, now I don't have the time. I don't have the time. Fully, I don't have time. Time is a currency. I don't have it to do many things. I've got 7 staffs. I still want to employ more for many things. Because there's a serious agenda. And you're there, you have your small time. You can't maximize it to do anything with your life. You're gonna be a slave. You're gonna serve your mates. You serve your mates now. If that's it. There are various consequences for any. Yeah, we're going to conclude right now, and I'm going to be sharing a few things. I was speaking to somebody and I was just exposing out to the concept of identity. Quite a couple of young people I've been speaking to of late. I was like, oh coach, how much is your rate card? And all that. I said, just leave money alone. I have a job now. I'm not hungry. It's the fact that you yourself, are you willing? It's not, no, there's no point in you paying me money and you're not interested. That's what, if you've been my sessions, my one-to-ones, always, are you willing? You can get a refund or something. This is serious business. It's first of all a passion on the ministry before it becomes a business. I don't mistake that for anything. It's a ministry, it's a passion before business. So I'm going live on Instagram, like come live on YouTube, more formalized. But on Instagram live, I'm able to, I'm more chilled. I'm laughing and all of that, sharing perspective. You'll get a chance to ask me questions on different issues of life. So it's more of the informal coaching, and I think many people can benefit from it, because wisdom is really, the things. I know how much I pay to access wisdom at this level. So if it comes onto you free of charge, well, maybe make use of it, because at the point in time in life, generally there'll be scarcity of what you always think is available. That's the law of life. Law of diminishing return always sets in. So for example, no matter how consistent you are, it gets to a point in time, law of diminishing return will set in. Number one, you lose motivation, or number two, you can remove many things. Nature achieve his cause. Some people die, not because they were not consistent, but because of law of diminishing return. You get older, right? Really important. So we're going live on Instagram next Monday. Life lessons with Coach Ayola. Live lessons with Coach Ayola. On Monday, August 31st, I'll be live on Instagram. I want you to come connect with me, share different perspectives that will really help you. Yeah, life lessons with Coach Ayola. Really, it's going to be a transformative session. There's no agenda for that. You come in with your questions. I'll share perspective on, like, wisdom. Jesus Christ says something. He said, buy the truth and sell it not. There's the truth they share in church, the truth they share around there, but there's the truth that sets free. You see, those truth that sets free is not found in common places. Those are what we call hidden wisdom. So we're going to be connecting on Monday, August 31st, live on Instagram. And for our next month webinar, I want you to just give a clap. So powerful. Yes. So powerful. How to move from a local champion to a global citizen. Wow, this is how do I put it now? I love this. This is an office for me because I've spoken at the United Nations on different platforms. How to access opportunities. Remember, I spoke about exposure. You need to be exposed. There's something. Let me tell you, Jesus Christ at his age, at 12, he was already attending the feast, right, of Passover, and he attended the different feasts in his days. And let me just let me take this off. Yes. So you see, Apostle Paul, Jesus Christ, they always attend, and most, even people in today's contemporary world, they attend a lot of conferences because you need to network, engage, new knowledge, new information. You cannot be in the bedroom when the matters of destiny are being discussed in certain rooms. There are certain rooms that a young person must be in. At least, if you're within 20 or 30, at least you must have gone for an international conference. There's something it just does to your entire career. Just having that on your portfolio, really important. So I'm going to be sharing some perspective that will really help us in terms of how to really move from being a local champion to becoming a global citizen. Yeah. When I went to the United States, I went on a diplomatic visa, UN diplomatic visa. That was the first time I knew that, wow, your value will veto any cultural or national bias. I was welcomed into New York, United States, with the UN diplomatic passport. I didn't have to queue with even those that had the European passport were queuing. I was welcomed in as an ambassador. I was like, what? I'm coming here again. And of course, I went to the embassy again the next time. And I think the visa officer said, I know you. I'm like, of course, wow. But that's just because I was able to tap into certain opportunities that opened up a couple of years ago. So yes, the UN, many institutions are really important for you to start having a stake in if you want to become a leader. Remember, if you want to become a follower, you don't need to be there. Just go and dance on TikTok, go and dance on Instagram. But if you want to be a leader, there are certain rooms you must be in that discussions are being said. What do we have again? Yes, something big is coming. Something exciting is coming soon. Watch out on our space. I want you to follow us on TikTok. Follow us on our TikTok channel. Lots of stuff, always transformative, personal development, leadership, inspirational. Follow us on YouTube. Of course, subscribe to our YouTube channel. And on Instagram also, really important, really important. Something big is coming, so I want you to stay tuned because it's gonna be explosive, something big. I'm so eager to let the cat out of the bag, but I'm gonna be diplomatic. I'm not gonna do that yet. Yes. So yes, those details will be across all our platforms. So just engage with us on Instagram, on YouTube, subscribe, send the links to your friends and family that missed it, then will engage with the replay. Or you have someone that's confused, that he's not sure, just go to the YouTube page. I've done many teachings: identity, leadership, value, mindset, belief system, many things, branding. There are many teachings over there, right? So go on a YouTube page. You cannot watch you cannot watch me for 10 minutes and stop and say this is a waste of time. No, that's an aberration. It can't happen. It can't even happen because of the law of value, right? So many teachings, law of understanding the code of power, redefining true education, emotional intelligence, many things, and there are still many things we'll still continue doing, like the next month we're going to be doing and the upcoming months. But also for what we're cooking back end, something big is coming on board. Have we got any comments? Okay, has anybody got any questions before we go? If not, we'll meet at the Instagram live next Monday, August 31st. Connect on Instagram at Coach Ayola 5. If there is nothing, thank you very much for joining. I just hope I've been able to be of provide value to you this evening about redefining true education. And we started with the part 1 last month and concluding with the part 2 today. And I mentioned that you're being taught. No one is not educated, but in terms of the consent you've given. So go back and look at those action points. Are you being taught in terms of the algorithm, in terms of your association or environment, in terms of pain or fear, in terms of what else again? I think just off my head now. Culture. You've been taught by culture, and I said there are many things that show that you've been truly educated in terms of the pressure. If you're under pressure, if you're in obscurity, if you've not been known, when you have money, when you don't have money, when you have power over somebody, and when you're disappointed. And I was able to explain the fact that we're moving from not just access to education, but access to quality education. And I mentioned something earlier on for those that joined us late, that qualification is not equal to capacity. So yes, if things are not working in your life, it might be one of the two issues: either you're not qualified, or if you're qualified, it's either you're not capable. So check, are you qualified? And I mentioned that many are called, that's qualification, but few are chosen, capacity and capability. And I mentioned about the soft skills that you should build, sales skills in terms of your communication and appearance. Communication keeps people to you. Appearance attracts them to you. When you attract people, how you communicate. The Bible says in Philemon 1 verse 6 that the communication of your faith might become effectual. How you communicate about a thing. That's why you must be a person of conviction. You must be a person of identity, of value. And I mentioned about ideas, innovations, inventions, research. You must be a person keen to research and knowledge. I mentioned about platform. Like everyone needs to have a social media platform that they are dispensing their value. At least start off first of all to build mileage if you're young. So don't focus more about perfection and authority, but start by building mileage, sharing a little bit things about what you already know. For example, what you learned today, you can share it on a social media platform and tag me and tag Prime Council. Oh, I learned these things today. And before you know, people begin to trust you because you're trying to build mileage. It gets to a point in time if you've done it over time, you're able to build competence and authority. And I said, check that for all the celebrities you follow, for all the popular people you follow, if there's one thing that they've been doing that many of you don't know, that for their young children, maybe they give birth to their young children, they now have a social media platform because they're also building mileage. And I give an analogy with the fact that if I've got this value here, right, if I've got this and I've got this, and this is exposed to 10,000 people, and this is exposed to just 50 people, even though this is more valuable, this person will get more returns in terms of sales and partnership because of the power of exposure. So numbers is really, really important in terms of commanding mainstream influence, and you need to start architecting that so that you're also able to dispense your value, because many of us don't have a vision and value problem. We have a visibility problem. It's either we're not being seen enough or we're not being seen by the right people, and social media is really, really important in today's world. Last week we spoke about types of education, so many things we've covered. I want you to go through the replay and just refresh yourself, and not just about the the information you've gotten, not just about retaining them, but the actions you want to take. And of course, if you need any help from me, you can contact me on our social media channels. You can reach out. You want to book a Vision Clarity call, we're available to book a Vision Clarity call with you. But without any questions, thank you very much for joining me this evening, and I hope to see you next Monday and next month for our webinar. See you next time. Bye.
Thanks for watching. Keep learning, keep growing, keep becoming. The future belongs to those who are prepared to make a difference. Stay connected with us for more insights, opportunities, and inspiration.
Subscribe to our YouTube channel at Prime Council and follow us on Instagram, Facebook, and TikTok at Prime Council.
Prime Council, guiding next generation leaders. Thanks for watching. Keep learning, keep growing, keep becoming. The future belongs to those who are prepared to make a difference. Stay connected with us for more insights, opportunities, and inspiration.
Subscribe to our YouTube channel at Prime Council and follow us on Instagram, Facebook, and TikTok at Prime Council.
Prime Council, guiding next generation leaders. Thanks for watching. Keep learning, keep growing, keep becoming. The future belongs to those who are prepared to make a difference. Stay connected with us for more insights, opportunities, and inspiration.
Subscribe to our YouTube channel at Prime Council and follow us on Instagram, Facebook, and TikTok at Prime Council.
Prime Council, guiding next generation leaders. In January 2025, Prime Council officially emerged as an organization. But its story began earlier. What started in 2024 as a simple WhatsApp community became a movement, a growing space committed to transforming the mindset, capacity, and leadership posture of young people. By April 2025, that vision was formally established as Prime Council Limited, a UK-based organization with a clear mandate to raise and guide value-driven leaders across every sphere of influence. In January 2025, we hosted our first monthly webinar. By December 2025, we had successfully delivered 12 monthly webinars alongside 3 Instagram Live leadership conversations and 1 dedicated skills training session for our volunteers, equipping both our audience and internal team with tools for growth and execution. Recognizing the need for deeper, personalized transformation, Thanks for watching. Keep learning, keep growing, keep becoming. The future belongs to those who are prepared to make a difference. Stay connected with us for more insights, opportunities, and inspiration.
Subscribe to our YouTube channel at Prime Council and follow us on Instagram, Facebook, and TikTok at Prime Council.
Prime Council, guiding next generation leaders. Thanks for watching. Keep learning, keep growing, keep becoming. The future belongs to those who are prepared to make a difference. Stay connected with us for more insights, opportunities, and inspiration.
Subscribe to our YouTube channel at Prime Council and follow us on Instagram, Facebook, and TikTok at Prime Council.
Prime Council, guiding next generation leaders. Thanks for watching. Keep learning, keep growing, keep becoming. The future belongs to those who are prepared to make a difference. Stay connected with us for more insights, opportunities, and inspiration.
Subscribe to our YouTube channel at Prime Council and follow us on Instagram, Facebook, and TikTok at Prime Council.
Prime Council, guiding next generation leaders.